Hey guys, figured I'd do something new on this one. This is going to be my method for just rapidly going through farming for cutter markup supplies. It's really easy. All you do is you get a group of cutters. I'll give my move commands. I'll talk a little bit more about it. I move them all back, and then what I do after I've done that is I take the number 1 cutter and I actually move it back just a little bit further than the rest of than its position. The reason is it'll turn later and it'll line up more with the second. It basically sheds DPS throughout 1, 2, and 3 as opposed to number 1 taking all the DPS. But the main thing is to keep that number 1 cutter where it is until it gets back there, so that all of the other cutters kind of narrow in on that number 1 cutter. They chase that 1 cutter. And what I did there just a few seconds ago was I grouped cutters 1, 2, and 4. And then I also grouped 3, 5, and 6 together. That'll come into play here in a little bit. I actually forgot to turn auto on before I got to that point, but it doesn't really change the effect. So yeah, here I've used Manifold, and it actually works really, really well for this part. It works better than using Nova Ray does, actually, because they just group so well. Once those cutters are dead, the next thing I want to do is I want to take 2 and I want to go for the left, or take whatever ones are on the left. I want to go for the left and take whichever ones are on the right and go for the right to break up that DPS. If you just let them auto, sometimes you'll get 2 on one and 4 on the other. Sometimes you might even get 1 on one and 4 on the other. Again, it just does a better job of splitting your DPS. So if you're going to manually do this, which I've done it that way, usually I run 1 fleet on manual and 1 fleet on auto. I'll bring that first set of cutters over to the second set. That way I can kind of kill some fighters. If not, they'll come in at different angles. You'll still kill fighters. It just sheds a little more DPS. You got to think I can hit anywhere from 12 to 15 fleets with just this 1 fleet. With Taipans, I could probably hit 9 to 10 fleets and have about 10 hours of repair. So it's something that I do the supply run before I go to bed if I don't have any repairs. And if you're trying to mark up your komodos, you can use Taipans for this. You can use 6 Taipans relatively easily. So the second iteration, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let it auto, with the exception of the move command, moving backwards, and then the minor adjustment of the number 1 cutter, which you'll see a little more fine here on this one. See, I click 1, and then I go right about to the middle of the arrow, and that's where it brings that cutter. And because I have auto on, you'll also get to see exactly how number 1, 2, and 3 kind of mesh when you do it that way. And it just sheds that DPS across all 3 of those. Sometimes what I will do is I'll dock, and then the cutters that I notice after like 6 fights are taking more damage than the other cutters, I'll actually swap them so that I don't have to repair anything. And if you're coining, I mean, you're coining. You can coin the repairs, sure. But I farmed all 6 of these Mark V komodos in about 2 weeks, I'd say. Maybe a little more, actually. But I farmed them in the speed with which I can actually make them. So I really didn't sit on for any extended period of time where I didn't have anything to make crafting wise. So that was nice and handy. So yeah, again, same thing. You just see me going in, doing this. Now this is where I talk about the cutters kind of do their own thing when they're on auto. You'll see they all start to veer towards that one, and then 2 start to backtrack. And then you just see this jumble where they all kind of do their own thing, and then now you got 2 cutters actually putting rounds down range for a couple seconds. So if you break it up, it just does a better job of splitting the damage that you are taking. But yeah, generally what I do is I run 2 fleets of these at a time, and I can bring in 24 boxes per run easily. I don't have to do this anymore. It only works up to VSEC, but this will allow you to get Mark V Komodo cutters, which still are nothing to shake a finger at. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful for someone out there. It's just a really easy way to do this. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.